It's time once again, baby. Another episode of This Old Outboard coming right at you.
So yesterday, I bought this tarp, and I had some contact cement, and I made a giant patch. $50 patch, baby. Because I had all these holes in this thing from the hailstorm. And it was just, when it rains, I mean, everything would just get wet. So I got a little extra long. I'm thinking about making, bringing this out, have 4-foot extension out there. But that should keep the rain out a lot more than it has been, that's for sure, man. I mean, but by the weekend, back to normal. Rainy, 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 rainy. Still in hurricane season, too. So I'm looking at my thermostat gasket, and I'm like, uh-oh, that's not it. Wrong freaking gasket. In the old days, you bought thermostat, gasket came with it. Now you gotta buy everything freaking separate. So I'm spinning this around, looking at it, and look, boop, it's 2 gaskets. So I made out great. It's supposed to just be 1. I hope it's the right one. Something look a little funky in there. Well, it doesn't go on like the old school ones went on, where the slit is in the middle of the gasket and fits over the brass part here. I don't know if this is going to work, if it's right like that, Now this has happened to me before, where the numbers all match, but it's the wrong gasket. But in the schematic, this puppy goes in, and it shows the gasket going on first. So has this replaced this? Alright, so here's eBay. This is how I shop for parts. I get my part number on the marineengine.com or boats.net, and I come over here and search it. Now this is the part number. Then there's the Sierra part number right there. So the part numbers are right. If you look at these pictures, these two don't look anything like it, but he's got that part number in there. And this one looks a little bit like it. And this one looks pretty damn close to what I've got. Part number. And this one, can't see it, but you can see right inside there, I think, you see that groove right on the inside. Fits over the brass, the round brass top. So they all look a little bit friggin' different. There's another one. You see the groove? You see that groove right in there. That's where it fits on there. Now some of them show that and some of them don't. So the damn thing better work. And I figured out why I got 2. Because I accidentally ordered the 2-pack. Which is fine. And this is how, like I said, how I shop for parts. Come to eBay. I'll look either for the best price, or I look for the closest distance. If it's, right here in Florida, it's only going to take a day or 2 to get here. If it's in California, it's going to take a little longer. Everyone on here looks different, so they all got the same part number, so I'll give it a shot and see. I don't know, some of those pictures on there did show the gap in there to put it on, and some of them didn't. So it's a little confusing. Now some of that stuff is new old stock, some of it's new stock. Just a pain in the butt, like everything else. So there's the grommet, popped right out. The rough, but the new one's on its way. Alright, baby, got my silicone, dielectric grease, and rubber gloves. Head over to the bass boat and grease up all the switches, get up under there and spray the hell out of everything. Try to get that steering wheel a little looser. Alright, so Tracy's trying to get a new tank in here. Just drained all the gas out. Brand new tank. This baby's all swollen up. Trying to get it out. Better him than me. Well, look at that carpet. It finally curled. As many times as this thing's been soaked and swamped and sunk, and I've even said it too about the carpet. I said, man, what kind of carpet is that? It sure has lasted a long time. Well, it finally, that's because this end was all covered with its scum. Let's see, got the tank in. Yeah, baby, tank is in. I'll say it one more time. I used the end of that gray hose because it was still good. And that's all the black fuel line I had. So if you missed it on the first video, well, this will give you a chance to get caught up. Black hose, good. Gray hose, not so good. But it already had the connection and short piece. It was fine. Alright, I'm just going to squeeze some of this crap out on a glove and rub it all over my switch connections, and then try to get something on this damn steering wheel. Cause I'm back in black. So this thing has that track in there. Found me a hole right here where the track is right under there, and spraying it right in and then rolling it. Feels good. Look at that. That feels pretty good. Let me get down here. I should have brought my grease too, but you know, with that right now. Get a little something on there. And I'm just gonna blast all these wires and switches. Everything I can. Alright, so that'll hold that frickin' bass boat wiring for a while. It's that copper wire that's doing all the problems in there. I read up, don't mix wires. The regular wire in there is tin lined. You start adding copper to it, it enhances and speeds up the corrosion process. Now you look at my boat, my John boat, it's always on the water. You know, look at this speedboat, holy mackerel. But you look at my John boat, it's always on the water, it's up against the elements, although it's never been sunk. And the bass boat gets sunk all the time, but the motor doesn't get sunk. It has been sunk when hurricanes and stuff come through. See if this guy comes by again. Anyway, take the hood off, check all my wiring. There's nothing corroded in there. It will corrode over time, but there's nothing corroded. When I rewired that from key start to push button, I didn't add any copper wire. If I had, I'd have that same problem going on, underwater or not. He didn't haul ass. Cool, man. Here it goes. I think he's putting on a show kind of for the restaurant over there. But also, speaking of pumping, somebody said something about, you know, wires being backwards or something and the motor running backwards and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I ain't never seen one of these run backwards before if you hook the wires up backwards. So here's my ground. And then this, see the brown wire here, that's the hot wire. but the black wire was added on to it. This pump was given to me. So this would be the hot wire that I keep up here. Now you see, it's running hot to positive, ground to negative. Now, if I swap a roomie, they don't run backwards. They don't run backwards. See? Because they're not going to design a pump that's going to suck water into your boat. Now, I'll put this back on the ground. This thing feels loose. And then here's my hot. Just to show you it works. Uh-oh, there it goes. And when he had the pump, the guy that gave it to me, this thing, you know, the float wasn't working properly, and, you know. So, since I've had it in this boat, it's been doing its job, I can tell you that. Oh boy, I told you frickin' rain was back in the forecast. A couple of nice days when that cold front blew through. Oh man, and this is coming in at night. Unbelievable. I don't like it at night, I like it at day. It's moving in. Lightning strikes over there. See that? Holy schmagaroli. Lightning strikes over there. Oh man, I don't like this nighttime stuff. I just don't know what's gonna happen. So I just said the heck with it and ordered up the correct gasket, the old school gasket, the one that fits on the frickin' thermostat. None of this fooling around with that other thing. Get it over with, you know. $2.66, a few bucks for shipping. Just get it over with, baby. Woohoo! And I'm still waiting for my grommet to come in. I haven't heard a word from Crowley Marine, which is weird. They had 5 in stock. It was supposed to ship that day. Not a word, not an email, nothing on any progress in the shipping. And it's starting to piss me off. I've been waiting for my frickin' parts to come in. Slowing down the whole frickin' show. I had to call and cancel. You know, I didn't even get to call. I had to email, you know, cancel an order because they're, you know, you order the crap up, says ship same day, and it's, you know, nothing. No information, no shipping information, no emails, no nothing. So 4 days later, I'm like, where's my stuff? Of course, the next day, I get an email back. And I told him, I said, if I can't get this stuff here in 3 days, just cancel. So the next day I get the email, oh, we're reviewing your email. And I'm like, well, that ain't no good either. I need an answer right now. So meanwhile, I jumped on eBay, and boom, one part came in, the other parts will be here tomorrow, smoking fast. That's why I go with eBay. All right, my parts came in. Now, that's the wrong freaking grommet. God bless America. It's too big. I give up. Now I'm way behind. Way behind. Look at this thing. It's just huge. Unbelievable. Anyway, here's the new OMC. Now if you look in there, like I pointed out in those videos, you can clearly see, I don't know if you can see it in this lighting, you can see the gap in there where the thing fits. Now if you look at the Sierra ones, like I pointed out, you can't see anything in there. And if you turn it over, you can see a ridge. Got you. But it doesn't look like the gap you would see on this one. And you turn this one over, you still see the gap. So I started looking at this thing and I'm like, what is going on with these? Well, and then look at here. So I'm flipping it around And it's still like, is there a gap in there? Is there, what is this? So I'm like, oh no, there isn't. Well, there is. Believe it or not, the way these are put together, I got this one on. There is a freaking gap in there.
We are conveniently located 1 mile north of 434 at 720 North Highway 1792 in Longwood. Visit our online store at www.boatwrench.com. Thank you for holding, and someone will be with you shortly.
Well, I can't get no satisfaction, baby. They don't have it either. I said, anybody you know in town besides the other guys I just called? And he said, well, if you want to drive to Indiana. I said, no thanks. So I'm screwed on the 40 again. I don't get it, man. So anyway, like I was saying, he had come down, fired it up right after I did. That last time, I think I was putting the bilge pump in. And he said, fine, everything was fine. And I ran into him again. I said, how's the motor running? Oh, I couldn't get it started. I think I flooded it. I said, all right, I'll run down and check. So that's when I found out the little grommet, I'll show you here in a sec, was broke. So we just made the rounds on the parts motors, picked up another little grommet, and put it on, and I fired it up. Same thing, acted like it was freaking choking out. And I said, there's no way this thing is choking out. It's not getting gas like it did that first day. So this is the piece I took off the parts motor. Then on top there, this side, the round piece with the little fingers on it plugs in right up here on my linkage. Then this plugs into that. So I think it's gonna hold. So anyway, fired it up a couple times and made a little adjustment here and there on my Lincoln stink. I crank it up, finally get it to start a little bit. Tuned everything down, you might say. Pulled my roller off the cam, totally off the cam. No this, no that, no nothing. I've got the lever up right now. That's why it's sitting so high. So I got it to start as slow as I could possibly run it with the lever all the way up. That's where I started. Then I readjusted my carbs, opened up these two screws, made sure all my carbs were closed, tightened them back up, and kept my roller loose. Then backed this baby up just a little bit on my cam mark and moved my roller down to my cam mark, but left just a little bit of space, so it wasn't touching. Fired it up, running super low with that thing as high as it could go. So, cut the motor off. And, well, actually, it had died. So, cranked it back up again, my primer bulb, pumped it back up again. It seems like there's sucking some air in there, too. There's a lot of air in that filter. When I do it real slow, there's like little tiny bubbles coming through. Tighten that up, no help. So anyway, come over to the other side here. Well, is this pump leaking or not working, or what the heck is going on? Because this pump came off one of the parts motors, pretty sure. So I pull this thing out and I'm looking at it and I see a little crack in the line right there. Now that's the air pulsating line going into the power head. Then I look all the way back there, look at that big old crack. That's why it's not running. So I gotta take this off, cut this, put it back on. I'll do this end too, because it's screwed up. How in the hell that happened, I'll never know. So that's what the initial problem was in the beginning, that hose being cracked and just trying to get gas up in there. Also, what I did while I was doing that was open this baby up. As soon as I opened this baby up, whoosh, she cranked right up. Also, what I was doing, as some people do with their primer bulb, is pumping it, trying to keep it running, but that was no help. But if I hit the primer button while it was running, then it would run and rev up. Now I'm just close on these settings. I'm not, you know, I start out on the carbs. Now, if you're like me and you don't have a tack and a timing light and all that crap, start out on the carburetors. See that shaft sticking out with that little roll pin in it? So with the carbs closed, that thing should be totally horizontal. So that's where I start, totally horizontal. Then push this baby up into full throttle, and those should be totally vertical. So when it's closed and it's horizontal, your butterfly is closed. When it's vertical, full throttle, they're right across horizontal open. So that's where you should end up, at full throttle on the butterflies. Then, like I said, this here is really no different than what is up here on a smaller outboard. It even says in the manual, even though your settings are on the side horizontally instead of vertically, it's still the same principle. But yet, there are the procedures by the book with the timing light and a tachometer to get this thing dead on. But this, what I'm doing, will get you close. So meanwhile, just the initial setup will get you close by looking at your carbs, where your butterflies are at, where your linkage is at. And it's, like I said, it's not rocket science, but then again, it can be. And I hope some of this makes sense. So right there, you see that big hole? Well, let's see what we got here now. All right. Pump. See that, all those air bubbles? But I didn't have to really pump it. You know, a couple of half of the pumps did it. All right, let's give it a shot and see what we got. Full up on my doohickey. And I don't think I need to prime it or anything. Maybe I do. Let's try it. Yeah, baby, little primer. Should be back in business. Look at that thing peeing, boy. Woo. I've got this thing pretty far up and not full blast. So I'm all the way back down. There's my line and my roller. Idling pretty good, I'd say. Now I can slow this down a little bit. Right about there. Just my idle here. But you gotta wait till you get it in the water. Now on this one, the cam could be set before the mark. Could be set after the mark. I mean the roller. I haven't looked in the book in a long time on it. But I think we're good to go again. Try popping it in gear. Now that's with no throttle. That's just popping it. Shouldn't be doing that because it's pretty shallow. You bring the motor up a little bit. Try it again. Yeah, that's good, baby. Turn it off. Try it again. Bing, bang, boom. Turn it off. All right, man, that's it. I'm done. Again, this should be good to go. Let me check that primer bulb and see if it stayed hard this time. Yeah, I think it's normal. But before, man, it was just running right back out. You can see, watch on that. See if I get any air bubbles. No, not like I was. I was just doing this a little bit. You could see them like coming in. So it must have been sucking from that end somehow, something, but that looks pretty good. It's just farting around with that big bubble that's in there. I mean, it was pulling in like sudsy little bubbles. So I think we're back in frickin' business. Telling you, baby, I like this frickin' motor. I don't care what anybody says. Single, man, it's a bat out of hell on this boat. I should take it for a run, but I'm not going to. Look at the friggin' transom over there. That's just from the trolling motor. This thing could friggin' go flying off, and I don't want to be in the boat when it does. That's the way I feel about it. Plus I have to get all my, I need a paddle, I need a life vest, and get caught out here on the weekend. The man is out here on the weekends. Don't want to get caught screwing around. Oh, yes, sir. I was just fixing his motor. I don't care. Where's your whistle at, boy? Roy? My name's not Roy. I didn't say Roy. I said boy. You ever seen a boy make 3 tracks in the snow?
You know the channel.